Welcome back. Our sponsors at Hiller Comerford Injury and Disability Law is a local firm with generations of experience and an exciting rebrand. And I'm joined now by one of the partners behind it, Timothy Hiller. Welcome, Timothy. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Let's start off by talking a little bit about the history behind Hiller Comerford.
Sure. So my father started the firm as the law office of Kenneth Hiller back in 1999. He went out on his own. And he started the firm as a Social Security disability practice. And at first, it was just him. Steadily grew over the years. I was fortunate enough to be able to join the firm back in 2012. And we've expanded our practice areas since then. So while it started as a Social Security disability firm, we now have a personal injury and a veterans disability practice focus as well. And in 2021, my partner, Comerford, and I purchased the firm from my father.
Okay, makes sense. Hence the rebrand from Kenneth Hiller to Hiller Comerford.
Correct.
Okay, beautiful. We're coming up on your one-year anniversary as well, right?
That's correct. Yes,
Congrats.
June 1st was the one-year anniversary, actually. So.
How has this year been for you?
It's been exciting. We wanted to rebrand for a couple reasons. The first, I mentioned that Law Office of Kenneth Hiller is primarily known as a Social Security disability firm, and we have built these exciting and talented new practice groups with VA disability and with personal injury, and we felt that rebranding could help those practice groups get some of the recognition they deserve. And the second thing was, obviously, my partner, Ida, and I didn't want to just coast on what my father had built. We wanted to get out there in the community and continue to build on what he established.
That's right. Let's talk about your slogan, your new one, and what's the inspiration behind it.
So the slogan is "It's Hiller time," and I've never been like a slogan guy. I guess it comes with the territory of being an attorney on TV.
Yeah.
But so we were sitting around with our marketing people, and they were pitching different slogans, and when they said "It's Hiller time," Ida and I just kind of like looked at each other and said, "That's it." And I don't exactly know why, but I do know growing up I was a Sabres fan.
Okay.
And we had Ryan Miller, and people would say it's Miller time, and it's kind of like a pun on that. So maybe we can get some good juju for the Sabres going with our slogan, because they definitely need it.
They do. Okay, we love to see it going. So obviously you have a lot to offer. What kind of areas do you primarily focus on, or what have been really big within this 1 year?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, with the rebrand, we wanted to focus on 3 different areas of law. We handle Social Security disability, which is what we've always handled.
Yeah.
And we also handle personal injury, mainly auto accident cases, and veterans disability.
Okay. So obviously there are a lot of firms, especially around Buffalo, that handle car injuries and stuff like that, personal injury law. So why should our viewers choose you?
So with our firm's background in helping people who are disabled, we understand the toll that a serious accident can take on someone. We've seen this, over the years where, it's not just the physical injuries, it's also the emotional injuries and the injury to the family. People become isolated from their family because they can't, do things like, go to weddings, they can't pick up their children, they can't play with their grandkids. And, we see people, unfortunately, kind of retreat from their life. And so what we've always been able to do with our disability practice is help empower people to take control of their life again. And we want to bring that perspective to the personal injury space, because everyone has the $1 million verdicts. The insurance company offered X and we got Y. Everyone can say that, and we certainly can as well. But what we want to be is that firm that understands what they're going through.
Let's talk a little bit more about VA disability, who's eligible for that, and what it can entail.
Yeah, so the VA disability practice is very near and dear to my heart. It's something that I started at the firm back in 2014, just recognizing a need in the community. So anyone who is a veteran who suffered some sort of in-service event that is causing them problems now can get benefits, and the benefits can be quite generous. They can go up to almost about $4,000 if you're rated at 100% per month. But you do have to prove that whatever you're going through now relates to something that happened in service. And so, perhaps a typical example was, unfortunately, if you had an in-service event that's caused PTSD, we've all seen that in the news. You'll have to prove that something did happen in service, some sort of stressor. And then you'll have to prove a current diagnosis of PTSD, and then there has to be some evidence linking the two. In other words, that the PTSD that you're suffering from now is linked to that event that happened in the service.
Well, obviously, when people come to you, something traumatic has happened. So how do you really work with your clients to, one, make them feel comfortable, like they can trust you, and that you're truly going to advocate for them?
So the number one thing we do is we listen. Especially with our veteran clients who are going through, PTSD, like I mentioned, they just really want to be listened to. The system really does not listen to them, and so the first step is just treating them like a human being and listening to them. If someone's gone through some seriously traumatic incidents in the service, like if it's a military sexual trauma, for example, we can match them up with someone of their own gender, which often will make them feel more comfortable. You don't want to. I mean, it's kind of obvious, but so we do things like that, and then the other thing that we do is we stay in contact with people. If you're a law firm that we're all about you until you sign up, and then you don't hear from us in months, and you're wondering what's going on with your case, that doesn't make you feel valued. That doesn't make you feel heard. And so especially with the veterans, we're following up with them. We're letting them know what's going on with their case and keeping them in the loop.
Well, Timothy, thank you so much for coming in and sharing more about what you do. Viewers, if you'd like more information on our sponsors at Hiller Comerford Injury and Disability Law, you can visit their website or call the 1-800-66-HILLER-LAW number on your screen. Thanks again for coming in.
Thank you.